All right, it is time, excuse me, to do CSS Battle. We have this funny shit. Oh, interesting. And I can't type yet. The edges, so it looks like the rectangle should be a quarter circle. This side is not a quarter, it's more than that. So you can't just use like a quarter of a radial gradient on the background of the circle. It has to be shifted over slightly. Sorry, I'm way ahead of myself. Body. Let's start like we are new to CSS Battle. So we're going to set body, we're going to say background is going to be this gray color. That solves a big part of our problem. Now we just need to do the yellow parts. Okay, how do we do that? I don't like, I don't think using flex or grid is going to be really helpful to us in this particular case. Can we use it? Sure. I don't think it's going to help us anywhere really. So I'm just going to jump down and I'm going to add a div. Let's do it that way today. That's not where you put the div. This is where you put the selectors. And then you put the div in the actual markup. So there's our first div. So the first thing we need to draw is probably a box that looks like this, because the easiest way to draw this shape is to draw the box and then mask it with a circle, or hide part of it with a circle. Can you draw a box with a half partial circle cut out of it? Sure, but it's going to be easier just to draw a box and then hide it with a circle. So we're going to draw a box. Let's go ahead, load our extension, and we're going to draw a box. We're going to set the background of our box to this yellow color. We're going to set the height of the box to, I don't know what it is, 80 pixels? Not tall enough. I set the width of the box to also 80 pixels, probably also not right. Then we're going to start to position our box. We have a couple ways to position things. If you're really new, you're probably going to do something like position, fixed, not fixed lid, but fixed. And then you can say top 60 pixels and left 100 pixels. Again, none of this is right, but we're getting close. We have to start somewhere. So the top is not 60, but it's closer to 40, closer to 32, 34, 35. Weird value. Left is closer to 85. Yeah. Okay, then it needs to be taller, so let's make it 100, 120, 130, 125, 26. Oh, 20, that wasn't 6. 126. And the width, let's use 120 to start. 135, 135 looks right. Okay, there is the yellow box that we need. Now, on top of that yellow box, we're going to put a yellow circle with a probably border. Could be an outline too, but borders less characters slightly. So we're going to select our subsequent or sister div, and we're going to do something just to make sure that we can see it. We're going to put outline on it. Outline 1Q, solid red. Okay, it's in the same exact place and is the same shape as our first one because it has all the same CSS properties. So let's give it a different property. Let's say border radius. And I'm just going to use 50% because I think this is actually a circle. It's not a circle now, but it will be a circle when we get there. So there is our new shape. Since it inherits position fixed, we can just place it very manually. We can say top, what was the other top? Top's 35. This top is going to be, let's make it 80 for now. But let's do something else before we worry about positioning it correctly. Let's get a border on it. I'm going to do a border, 30 pixels, solid gray color. That doesn't look like a thick enough border. I'm going to up that to 40. Maybe enough, maybe not. We'll see as we get things into position and sized correctly. So the top is way too much. Let's go with 50 on top. 55 maybe. That may or may not be right. Then we're going to do left, and left is going to be, let's call it 100 to start. and do that. Okay, needs a little more, 105. May or may not be right. We're too big. The circle itself is too big. So the width is, let's make it 100. And let's do the same for height. Okay. We're close-ish. We're not that bad. Is this just a border thickness problem? It's about 35. That makes it worse. 45 makes it better, or 46, 45 makes it good. Then we get rid of our outline. That should be a match. Let's submit to the back end and see what it says. All right, the back end is happy with that. We have, if we minify, let's do it. Let's minify. Let's unit replace. So this is going to find any place where I use a common value that's replaceable, a pixel value that's replaceable by some other shorter unit. It's going to replace it for me. So I don't remember what this was, but it's now 7LH, 45VH. It couldn't find a good fit for either of those, so it didn't replace them. So replace straightforward units. Then we're going to hit minify, submit, prettify, and we're going to put our units back. So we will have a score. Doesn't really matter what score is. We'll have a character count of 227. That's our best that we did with this solution. I've shown this before. I'll show it again. An easy way. Nope, 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 nope. I always hit Control H because that is usually replaced. In this, it is not as Control F. I'm going to replace all my divs with just paragraph tags. Replace all. Okay. We got a little funky there because I did use position fixed. Paragraphs have some margin built in, and I didn't use any margins on anything. So if I do something like star margin 0, that will fix all that. In this case, it actually cost us a couple characters to do that. But if we get rid of our closing paragraph tags, which we can, that actually saves us a couple characters. Yeah, that actually saves us a couple characters. We could also probably select star here and just move margin down there and then get rid of that selector completely. And that saves us a few more characters. Yeah, we could probably get rid of that. Yeah, we can. Everything else, we could get rid of a bunch of pixel values. We don't need these. We don't need these. We don't need those. We don't need those. Don't need it. Don't need it. Don't need it. Don't need it. Do need this one. That one will not work without pixels. Let's save some more characters. If we minify, we're down to 197. Unit replace will probably not help us because we're not putting units on anything except this, and it might save us character there. Nope. Okay. So that's fine. This is a fine solution. There's also a gradients solution to this that I think can be done with no elements at all, just the HTML. Let's try that. We may come back to something more like this in a minute, but I want to try the gradients first. So we're going to say style. We're going to do ampersand selector to pick just our HTML. We can write it as HTML. We're just going to replace it with ampersand in the future. We're going to say background. The background is going to be, we're going to have a couple different things going on. We're going to have a conic gradient. It's going to go from yellow to gray. Yellow is going to be 25%, and gray it's going to be 75%. Well, it's going to be actually 75%, but let me show you what we have. We have just a yellow box. It's going to be 75%, but we don't actually need the 75%. We can just say 0. And then on top of that, we're going to have a radial gradient. It's going to go from yellow to gray to transparent. And we're going to write transparent that way. Why am I not seeing anything? Oh, because it's not on top, it's on bottom. Gradient stack opposite. So let's put that down there, make that a comma, put this up here. That's the thing we want. Okay, now we want our conic, or our radial gradient, excuse me, to look like a circle. So we're going to use a 1Q keyword as the aspect ratio. Now it just got really bitty. You can't see it. So I'm going to make this, I don't know what it is, 40 pixels. Not big enough, but that's okay. No semicolon there. And then how big was my border? Was it 45? That's not big enough, so I'm going to make this 90 pixels. It's not going to be big enough yet, but it needs a 0 for that. Okay. Now things are getting confusing because nothing is right. Let's try this at 50 pixels. That actually does look correct, but this needs to be 95 pixels. And then do we have a, yeah, we have a decent stop. Okay. So then we turn to transparent. Now let's fix our box. We're going to, what are we going to do? We're going to push our box even further that way to start because we need to get its size right. So we're going to say at, and I don't know what it's going to be. It's going to be 200 pixels, and we're going to say 0 there. That rope stuff. 50 pixels. Just there we go. Now it's on screen. Okay. We're going to say I don't know what it is, 20. And then this is going to be more like 100. And then we're going to start positioning it into place. Because we're using the background syntax, shorthand syntax, we can have a background image. Then we can follow that by a position and a size. So I'm going to start to position this thing. So I'm going to say its position is minus 50 pixels. And it needs to be more than that, minus 150, minus 140, 135. That looks right. It's too wide. I made it too wide. So let's make it narrower by increasing this value. So it's going to be 240. It's going to move that side back, unfortunately. 250, 260. That looks about right. I don't know how far I moved, so I'm going to say 60, 70. Okay, now we're close. 65 and 80. That looks right. Now we need to push it down 50 pixels. It's either too tall or too short. I don't know which. Too short. Okay, so that means that this value needs to be more. Not 1200, but 120 is more. 1200 is also more, but way more. All right, this can be less, so let's move it up to 40. That doesn't look that terrible. It's not right, but it's not terrible. Let's move it up to 35. That gets the top right, and then this needs to be 126. 126, perfect. Okay, that made the back end happy. That's 185 characters, which is our best score yet. Like I said earlier, it's easy to save some characters. We can either make that, I don't think we can make it star, yeah, but we can make it ampersand. We can also unit place some things in here. Some things we'll clean up. We can sometimes get away with 53Q. Have to type the Q correctly there. That's fine. 95 pixels. What is that equivalent in Q? That's about 100. Let us use 100 Q. It's a dirty edge, maybe 101. So 101 looks better on the diff. Didn't like 100 on the back end. Let's try again. In the meantime, let's grab 265, see what that is. 280Q. Still not happy with 101Q, so let's put that back to 95 pixels. Pixels. All right, we had, what do we have? 280. Not really positive about this, but it may be fine. Looks fine. Nope, nope, not fine. Let's make sure we're not completely broken because I've had a couple unsuccessful submissions. Yep, that's fine. This will be maybe 38Q. Still have to type Q correctly. 39. Nope, 37. That's the best one I've seen. That one is okay. So we're down to 132 characters if we minify and submit. That's not that awful. 132 is not that bad. It's probably not going to win any prizes, but it's not that bad. I wonder if we can play with colors at all. If we have white and we need this color, the closest one's 7. That's not going to be helpful. If we have this color and we need yellow, that's 8 away. That's not going to help. Neither of those are going to help. And we have some weird overlay things going on because we are using stacked radiance as well. Yeah, it's not awful. Uh, the other one has some promise though. You could play some tricks with between the background and the HTML, and maybe play with some zoom and scale things, and maybe get a decent idea. But this is what I got for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.